Hi Living Good Earth Scientists, and welcome to our video for lab number 2. What is the relationship between the slope of the land and erosion? This lab is the third page of the document lab 1 and 2 that is found on the blog. Our question: how does rain and the size of a slope of a hill affect soil erosion? If you recall, you're going to have to build a model that shows how you're going to stop erosion from a hill running onto a basketball court. So today, the whole lab is designed to see what happens when we have hills that are sloped and the erosion. Your hypothesis: which slope do you think soil will travel the furthest when water falls on it? Steeper slopes or less steep slopes? And why do you think this? So please, in a complete sentence, answer the hypothesis and then why you think that is going to happen. I don't care if you're wrong. All I ask is that you please try. Materials: you're going to need wet sand, spray bottle. I could not find my spray bottle this morning, so I'm going to use my cup, disposable cup, and I poked about 20 holes in the bottom with a safety pin to symbolize my rain. A plastic shoe box or a box that could hold sand. You're going to need water, a bucket for draining water. You're also going to need a ruler. I've left that off, but I figured out you're going to need a ruler. And I'm going to be timing mine since I'm not using a spray bottle, so I have my stopwatch as well. Number 1, obtain 2 cups of pre-wetted sand. Number 2, dump the wet sand at one end of the plastic shoebox. Form it into a hill against the edge of the shoebox. Leave the shoebox lying flat on a table with no additional slope. So I went outside and I used my cup and I got 2 cups of sand. Then I poured a little water on the sand to go ahead and wet the sand. And I have formed it into a slope or a hill on the edge of my shoebox. One thing I left out: you're going to need to figure out where your sand is starting in this experiment. So what you could do, I just took the conclusion page of our lab. I've laid it under my shoebox, and the last line is where the edge of my sand is right now. So at the end, we're going to see if it has moved from that edge, and we're going to determine how far it has moved. So I went ahead and laid that down as a starting point. All right, step number 3. Spray water gently on the top of the hill about 50 times. Try to spray the water on the hill the same way that rain would fall. So I'm not going to spray. I'm going to use my cup, and I'm going to let it rain for 1 minute. If you choose to do the cup, that might be what you want to do. Number 4, during spraying, notice and record any movement of the sand particles on or around the hill in the patterns of eroded material column on your data table. Okay, so pay attention to what your hill looks like right now before you've done anything. And then what we're going to do, and I'm going to wait until my minute's up, but I'm going to draw what I noticed happened. Did any patterns, anything I noticed happened from the beginning to the end when I let it rain. Number 5, continue spraying until the spreading of the hill slows or stops. So we've got to pay attention to how much it's moving and then when it stops. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to fill my cup pretty full of water so that I have the force causing it to rain. And I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute. Seeing if there's any patterns, anything that I notice. And once it kind of stops, then we'll turn the stopwatch off. I noticed it was taking one path, and now it's kind of changed to a different path. if you remember when we talked about deposition, you've got a nice little alluvial fan forming down here. It has yet changed paths again. And we still have some erosion. We still have some sand moving in that water. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I know it said until it stopped, but I'm going to go ahead and just stop it at 1 minute. So now we have the after 1 minute, and we need to, step 6, observe the erosion of the hill. Observe how far the particles of the sand spread beyond the hill. Observe the pattern of eroded material. Observe how the hill was affected by the running water. Record your observations on your data table. Okay, so on the back, here would be where I would either write or draw the patterns. So in this particular one, I noticed it kind of took my slope, my sand is no longer here anymore, and there was a path. I might draw the path. It originally came over this way, then it formed a new path down kind of towards the middle, and then it formed another path off to the side. Okay, what effect did it have on your hill? So again, you could write it or draw it, but my hill's gone up here. I no longer have that hill. I don't know if y'all can kind of, whoops, my water just went up there. But there's a nice hole here, and then as it went down. All right, I have to record the distance that it moved. So, I'm going to do the best I can with this. I'm going to put it to the side here. I have this on a tray, so so I'm going to start it from my line and until the sand, however far the sand went out. And I'm doing this backwards because of my limitations with my tray. My finger was holding the spot. So it actually moved about 4.5 centimeters. Okay? Millimeters are the little lines. The whole numbers are centimeters. So it moved about 4.5 centimeters. So that's the distance that I was able to move with my my hill, my slope. Okay? All right, so we're going to set this up again. Unfortunately, this recording feature I have, I cannot pause this video. So I'm going to get rid of this water because we don't need it. You can, I guess, fast forward it through this if you wanted to. All right, I am going to set my slope back up. So I'm going to get my hill back kind of what it was. It's not going to be perfect, but as close as we can get it. I'm going to try to get a little bit more of that water out. Kind of squeezing some of the water. All right. So I still have the same slope. Kind of look here. Still have a slope. I'm still going to set it on my 1 here, and somewhere I have a towel. All right, now what we're going to do is add a slope, a little more slope, and to do that, it tells you to place a book. Well, it actually tells you to make a 5 centimeter slope. What I'm going to do is place a book under the edge, and that's going to make my slope a little bit steeper. All right, so now I have a book that's lifting up my slope. I still have it set on the line, so I know my starting place. I'm going to have to move. Okay, And I'm going to repeat, but I've got to go get a little, I think I got enough water. And we're going to do the same thing for 1 minute, but now we have a little bit more slope because I've elevated my container. So I'm going to pour my water, and I'm going to start for 1 minute. And we're going to see if anything happens because we have more of a slope. Still having that effect at the beginning, nice hole forming. The water's running down. I don't know if it's raining as much. Got about 20 more seconds. Get a little bit more water. All right, and now it has been a minute. Okay, so we're going to stop the rain, and we're going to see what has happened. So go back to your data table. You want to record any patterns that you notice. You can draw that or write what patterns from what it looked like at the beginning to what it looks like at the end. Write down what effect it had on your hill. What do you see? What do you notice? And I'm going to go ahead and record our distance. So, whoops, I'm not doing centimeters. There we go. Right. And so that one went about 5 centimeters. So we had a gain of about 1/2 centimeter. Okay, so we are going to start over. You'll have to wait a second while I run. Okay, and now we will set up the last, I need one more container to dump my You can fast forward through all of this mess that I have. All right, so we're going to get rid of all this water. I'm going to get rid of this, some of this really wet sand. Okay. And we are going to fix our hill again. All right, and we're going to create even more of a slope. So now I'm going to put a second book under here. So I still have my original slope, and now my container is elevated with 2 books, so it's at an even higher slope. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to do this for 1 minute. So pay attention to what our beginning looks like, and I have y'all can't really see it, but I do have my line underneath the paper lined up with my soil so I know what I'm starting with. And we'll go ahead and get it raining for 1 minute. Paying attention to what's happening with our hill, what's happening with our water, and then the sand. Really pay attention how the sand down here is still kind of moving because gravity is pulling it down because of that slope. About 12 seconds remaining. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop. All right, and then get your data table. And you want to record what pattern did you notice with the material as it eroded? What effect did it have on your hill? And then the distance. And I've skipped the other observations, but you all can fill that out with anything else that you noticed. So we'll do the best that we can. My measuring is not ideal, but we're going to make it's the best that we can do under these circumstances. All right. So we are at 7 centimeters. From our original line down, it moved 7 centimeters. So our original was 4.5, then we were at 5 centimeters, and now we're at 7 centimeters. So let's answer our analysis questions. Number 1, what happened to the erosion of the material when you changed the slope of the hill? What patterns or trends did you see? Did you notice any patterns in all of them? Anything that was kind of the same in all of them? And then what happened when we added more slope versus the less slope? Number 2, why does the slope of the hill affect erosion the way that it does? Why is it that the slope causes the erosion like it does? So what do you think the answer is to that? And then your last page, which mine is completely soaked under here. So maybe using this page is not the best idea because I spilt water all over it. Your conclusion, and I just ripped mine, is I think basically going back and answering your lab questions. So take a moment and also complete the conclusion. You will be not graded on this lab, but you will have a checkpoint where you can use this lab to help you answer questions, and that will be for a grade. So please, on the formative, use your lab to assist you with your checkpoint. Thank you very much.